near just south of Gilroy on 101. Supposed to be some cool birds out here. Sure sounds nice. Blue hour. I can walk down this trail now and go get set up. See what the day brings, or at least the first few hours of it anyway. I don't want to sit out here all day because it'll be a pain in the butt getting back to Oakland at 101 and 880. It's terrible. But let's see what we can find. There's plenty of nice field out here. I know you can't see anything right now, but plenty of nice field out here. Tall grass, short grass, trees. You can definitely hear the birds waking up.
And just in that short walk, look how quick the light came up. And could I have picked a worse spot? Look at all those foxtails. Good Lord. And I wear sweats on top of it. I wear sweats because it keeps me flexible in being able to roll around and stuff. But who knew all those foxtails would be there? I wanted to make a quick point to share with you folks. This chair that I bought is really pretty cool, and I'll link it in the description of the video if anybody's interested. It's made by Browning. I paid for it. It is a little bit pricey. It's like $50, and it weighs 7 pounds, but it's super durable, and it's really low profile, so you can stay low with your bird blind over you, or just, you know, if you just want to sit under it with no bird blind, whatever. But it stays really low to the ground, so it's not like the average height fold-up camping chair. It's a really pretty cool accessory to be able to take with you and use when you're doing bird photography.
Foxtails. And covered up here. Well, there's baby hawks in there. I see them. There's a baby hawk in there. I can't tell what kind of hawk it is. I'm gonna let this light come up a little bit more.
The reason I say I want to wait for the light to come up a little bit more, and this is what always happens, and it's just part of the process for me at least. You get out there, you get set up, you're in your bird tent, you're waiting for you see the birds active, and it's the blue hour, it's beautiful light, but you don't have the ability to take a picture that is, for me at least, going to be one that's keepable and shareable, because the light is so low for the gear that you have that, it's just not worth doing. Here I'm at ISO 1000, 300 millimeter. I'm at 5.6 and 1/250th of a second. I can slow my shutter down, sure, but I don't have Eyas, okay? And the birds are moving. I can bump my ISO up, but then I've got a really super grainy photo. I can lower my aperture, sure, widen it up a little bit, but and that's going to let a little bit more light in. But then the photo's going to be blurry because there's more than one bird in the nest. There's always some obstacles you have to navigate, but that's part of the struggle. So just wait till the light comes up and take your photos.
In this situation, I'm probably going to use single point AF just because there's some little branches and stuff in front of the nest. The eosr has a really cool feature. I don't know if other mirrorless bodies have it or not, but I can push the little star on the back of my camera body and then hit info when I'm on single point AF. And in the electronic viewfinder, it magnifies that single point AF 10 times. So you can see the eye of the bird and get the camera to focus on that instead of the branch that may be next to the bird. So that's a really cool feature. And on the eosr, you access it by pushing, first of all, starting in single point AF, then hitting the star button one time, push it good, and then push the info button while you're looking in the electronic viewfinder, and you're going to see a square magnify 5 times, push info again, and it'll magnify 10 times. And you'll see that bird and be able to focus on that bird nicely if it's hidden by a couple branches or something. It's a good feature to be able to use. But today I got this Browning hunting chair that's a real low profile chair, so I don't have to sit my butt on the hard concrete anymore, because I mean, I'll do it. I don't mind. That's what I do, but you get a little stiffer. Then you got to kind of roll out of the bird blind. The chair, I can stand up and get out of the bird blind nicely. But anyway, listen to all those beautiful sounds. And the chicks are moving around up there too. They're active. So what's going on here? The 3 hawks are in the nest, and 2 of them are pretty animated. They're moving around and doing a few things, and I'm kind of using single AF point to go back and forth to focus on each one. We're auto ISO. We're at 2,000th of a second. Shutter speed is my goal for shutter speed right now, to freeze the action. You can see I shoot on a tripod with the ball head, and I keep the drag on the ball head kind of tight so it doesn't just flop around, but it's got some resistance to it. I kind of use it as a gimbal. ISO auto has got me at 640, 1/2000th of a second, 5.6. And if you can catch the bird when he looks toward the direction of the light, you get some nice highlights in the eye. Just like this one here. This is pretty nice. Wow, it's a pretty nice one.
And here you can see the top of the trees is lit in the nice golden light, while the bottom of the nest and where the birds' faces are a little bit darker. You know, these are little things like that I have to contend with and that are real. You know, this photo here is not cropped in. I want to show you kind of how far I am away from the nest, and all I have is a 300 millimeter f4, lens with no image stabilization, which is why I shoot on a tripod. And I try to keep my shutter as fast as I can for the light that I'm in. And here we've got two varying amounts of light. The top of the frame is got, it's covered in nice golden early morning light, and the bottom of the frame is still really cool. And so the bird's wingtips are nice and golden, and the nest is dark. I did catch some highlight in the eagles, not the eagles, the red-tailed hawk, his eye, the one with the ring stretched out. And you'll see that here. I'll crop in a minute to the actual image, the way that I saved it, and you'll see. But there's always little things to have to contend with. And like I say, I have to shoot for the gear that I have, and for the budget that I have. This is a nice image, but you always want to be closer. And, it's just the way that it is. I don't want to disturb the birds, but, if I had a better lens or a bigger lens, who knows? Here, the photo is cropped in. You can see the highlight in the young red-tailed hawk's eye. Really nice. The tops of the wings are golden. The other bird is dipped down, and so his face isn't catching any of that golden light. So, you're trying to, and this isn't edited. This one is just, they're out of camera. And so, I'm trying to keep that fast shutter speed with a low enough ISO that it's not terribly grainy, because I know I'm going to have to crop in, and I don't want the grain to destroy all the detail in the photo. And I want to keep a fast enough shutter speed so that it's not blurry. So there's always some little obstacles to have to navigate, but it's a beautiful morning. And that's why I also say, like, when I go out, I just watch the birds early in the morning as the sun is coming up, and that's probably just like for me time to just be peaceful and watch the birds and listen to nature before I can actually really start taking photos that gives me a shutter speed and an ISO combination that I'm happy with. I strive for 2,000th of a second at least, because I don't have image stabilization. If you have Eyas, then you could probably get away with the shorter shutter speed, shorter shutter speed. But, it just comes down to kind of knowing what you can do with the gear that you have and enjoying your time out there. And don't fill up your SD card with blurry, dark photos that are grainy just because you're excited.
And keep your AF point centered in the lens. It's the sharpest part of the lens. Keep it centered in there. It's the sharpest part of the lens with the AF point right in the center. And you'll tend to get your best result. And use a lens hood. Increases contrast and sharpness. That's the reason they make them.
The reason I'm saying to keep the AF point centered in your lens, no matter what lens you have, even if you have a great, super grand, 800 millimeter 2.8 lens, whatever, the center of the lens is going to give you the sharpest, best image. And not to say other parts of keeping your AF point in other parts of the lens won't give you a sharp image, but the sharpest part is going to be right through the center. And then using things like a lens hood. A lens hood is designed to let light only enter through the front of the lens and not from all angles. It increases your contrast, your, vibrance, your sharpness. And remember, I'm trying to squeeze every bit of, value and detail out of this lens that I can, because like in this image here, I'm fairly far away with a 300 millimeter lens. I know I'm going to have to crop in, and in cropping in, that's going to, decrease sharpness. And if I'm already starting off with the AF point way off in some weird part of the lens, well, the image is going to suffer. So I'm trying to do everything I can, knowing that I'm going to crop in on this photo, keeping the ISO as low as I can to get the fastest shutter speed that I can. Everything I'm doing is to increase the quality of the image when I crop in on it, to let you see, like this here, the birds in some kind of detail, knowing that I'm 6 miles away. We want to be able to maximize the way the photo looks with the gear that we have, knowing that we're going to crop in. The other image that wasn't cropped in, I guess, is fine. And some people like that type of image, but I want to take a picture of the bird where you can see the face. So I've got to bring it in some. So I've got to make sure that in the beginning when I take the picture, it's as sharp as it can be. I'm on a tripod. I've got a fast enough shutter speed. I've got a low enough ISO. I've got good light to make all that happen. My AF point is in the center of the lens. I've got a lens hood on there. And, you're going to do reasonably well. This isn't a bad image. It's not a fantastic image, but I saw 2 red-tailed hawk. I don't want to say babies, because there's a word for them. I think it's called Eyas, is what they're referred to, up to a year old. So, I call them baby hawks. They're baby hawks. And I want to be able to share the image and my experience with some degree of, pride in the image, knowing that I'm taking it 6 miles away. So all the details that go into the image make the final result better for you to share and be happy with your images. A bad image is like a bad tattoo. If you've got to explain your tattoo to somebody, it's probably a bad tattoo. And I say that meaning that if you've got to explain to everybody when you show them images why it's grainy or why it's blurry or why it's dark or why it's whatever, then you probably need to improve your images. And for me, I'm just trying to share with you guys some basic ways that I do my images. And there's ways I can improve mine. No doubt about it. But look at the golden light. Look at the highlights on the beak and the eyes of these eagles. Eagles. I keep calling them eagles. They're red-tailed hawks. Get it right, Duggar. Anyway, it's really, I think it's a pretty decent image. Anyway, folks, I appreciate you watching and sharing some time with me out in the field. Look at these 2 cute little red-tailed hawks. They're going to be lethal later, but they're cute right now. I guess unless you're a rat or a squirrel or field mouse or whatever. But it was a wonderful morning. It was a great time being a part of something that is not about yourself, and that's what this is to me. It's about being a part of something that isn't about me. You know, it's about something, you know, bigger than me, something, you know, something real. And I'm, you know, happy to be a part of that and get out there in nature and do that. You guys see, I do all different kinds of photography, and I just try to share, whether it's toy photography or Milky Way photography or bird photography. I just try to share that experience and that process with you all, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Like and subscribe to my channel. Please share it. I love all the interactions that I get from you. Check in the video description for some links to some of the gear that I use. I don't get sponsored by any of that gear brand. I buy it, and if it's good, I'll share it with you. But there are some links in the video description if you choose to buy it also. It helps out the channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care, and we'll wait for the next video.